Okay, let's take a look now at a story involving my personal favourite billionaire, Elon Musk. Everyone's got to have a favourite, and Elon's mine, because the eccentric CEO has cut prices on all Teslas. Now, that is for the sixth time. It's for the third time this year, and that is in an apparent effort to lure more buyers amid rising interest rates. But why exactly is he bringing those prices down? Who is he competing with, and what is he hoping to achieve? Plus, what does it mean for the EV market, both here and abroad? Let's find out with Craig Stevens, who joins me in the studio. He is the CEO of DubiCars.com. Craig, fantastic to have you join us here in the studio. First up, I just want to ask you, why is Elon Musk cutting prices? Because he's got a good product. Why is he bringing the price down?
Good morning. Well, firstly, I believe you've just bought a Tesla, so you're obviously personally invested in whether the prices are going to come down. I think you're okay for the time being, but let me talk about why Elon is reducing prices. I did actually send him a tweet this morning to ask him, but he hasn't responded as yet, so I'll fill you in when I get it. But I mean, look, it is becoming a super competitive marketplace now. I mean, he was ahead of the game, brought out a fantastic product far earlier than anyone else did, and had very little competition. So therefore, he could control price. The market has moved on now significantly. So if we look at not only the European manufacturers who have turned now to producing EVs, we've got the American manufacturers producing EVs, and we've got the Chinese market. And the Chinese market are the biggest consumers of EVs globally. And now they're producing EVs at a very good price, very effectively, and distributing them globally. So he is now in a much more competitive space than he ever has been before. So he has to reduce price, unfortunately, because it is a volume game. Car manufacturing is a volume game. He has factory, he has people making cars. He has to be in that volume game. And unfortunately, his price is now out of market or out of kilter with the market. So, yeah, he's got some stiff competition now.
I've seen one suggestion where he said that he was sort of looking quite far into the future, playing the long game, because the idea if he can get as many cars into the market as possible, then once they go autonomous, he's going to win out. What's the connection there?
Well, I think I think everyone's thinking that, right? Everyone's thinking of the long-term game, and everyone's thinking when and if it becomes an autonomous marketplace, you have to have volume. And Tesla can't be a niche player in either the EV market or the autonomous market. So he has to grab share and he has to grab volume. He did a great job of getting the first mover advantage. But now if he's going to grab more share, unfortunately, it's going to be around price.
Are we seeing those price cuts here, though?
No.
Why not?
Do you want the honest truth?
Yes.
I mean, look, we are pretty insignificant in the EV market for manufacturers. So why would he cut his price here? Because realistically, if he cut his price here, it would make absolutely no difference to his market share. It made no difference to volume. Do you want to have a guess at how many EVs were sold in this market last year?
Well, now I've got a Tesla. I feel like I see them literally everywhere. So I don't know, are there not that many?
Well, there's about 4,000 EVs, brand new EVs sold last year, right? Out of a market of 220,000 vehicles, okay? So it's pretty small. 10 million EVs were sold globally last year, okay? So we were 4,000 out of 10 million.
Oh, okay.
so we're pretty small. And look, and realistically in this marketplace, I mean, the UAE, I think, and I've worked in a fair few countries, the UAE is different to any other country I've worked into when it comes to cars. And I think this is a different marketplace, so I don't see him cutting prices anytime soon.
Okay, do you see demand for EVs ramping up here? Why do you think it's not increasing at a faster rate? I mean, we've got the UN climate change conference happening in November. It seems like every single headline here is about COP28. It's about saving the planet. It's about global warming. Why do you think the pickup just isn't here?
I think well, firstly, let me say, I think this market is different, right? We've got a love affair with big engines, right, to start off with. Secondly, we don't do many miles in our cars. I mean, we're very low mileage in this country compared to anywhere else because it's a fairly small country. Thirdly, we have the fuel ferry comes at night and fills up your cars. You don't have the pain of going to the petrol station and filling up your car. And fuel is fairly cheap. So all those things together mean I haven't got the motivation to change to an EV. I think all those things have got to change if we're going to see more EVs. I think the government have got to create a bit of pain and reward, which hasn't really happened as yet. I think all those things have got to happen if we see mass adoption of EVs in this market.
Richard, how come you haven't bought one yet then?
For most of those reasons, that they're expensive. And the fuel saving just isn't there. It was a conversation back in July last year where petrol hit the highest price it's ever been here in the UAE, and it was costing me 300 dirhams plus to fill up my car. But I thought about it. I bought my car 2.5 years ago, and it's an SUV. I've got a family. I looked at the Model X Tesla and thought it was eye-wateringly expensive.
I must emphasise, we bought our second-hand. It is a second-hand EV.
Through our site, I hope.
Almost certainly.
But it was interesting, actually, when prices went above 4 dirhams per litre, that's when we saw the biggest interest in EVs. But it literally dropped down as soon as the price came. So price is definitely a trigger point for fuel.
Can I ask, though, is the market ready? Do we have the infrastructure here if we suddenly had this influx of EV cars? And I ask that with a slight sort of nod to the fact that I know we're not, because I've been trying to charge my car.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I think parts of Dubai are ready for it.
Yeah.
I don't think the UAE is ready for it. So I think there's something like 180, 200 charging stations in Dubai, but there's only 29 in Abu Dhabi. There's 11 in Sharjah. So, if you're driving outside of Dubai, you're going to struggle even more. So we're not ready yet, but I think we are moving very quickly. And I think, we are going to reach the targets the government would like to reach, over the next 20 years.
So what's the cheapest EV I can buy today?
You can buy a Chinese EV with a name that I can hardly pronounce for probably about 30, 40,000 dirhams. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah. There are very cheap Chinese products. Now, whether they're right for this marketplace, they're imports. They're not going to come through the official channels. You are going to take a risk with that vehicle. But this is what I'm saying. The Chinese
cheapest mainstream one where I can go to a dealer and show.
Yeah, you can go and buy a Honda now. Honda would cost you 85, 90,000 dirhams. So there are cheaper models. But, have they got the range that you need? And are these cars just literally for pootering around Dubai rather than actually a proper car you can use on an everyday?
You get range anxiety very, very quickly. Like, we're going to go down to Abu Dhabi this weekend, and the only place that we can charge is at the last exit. There's a 15-minute supercharger there. But everyone says on all the Tesla groups that it's always full. And so realistically, you're going to be effectively sitting at a petrol station, an electricity station, for an hour. And I mean, I like my husband, and there is a Netflix screen in the car, but I would prefer not to have to sit and wait to get fuel effectively. So yeah, it does feel like the market's not ready from my perspective.
I think you're right. I think those things, but also I think, there's just not enough pain in this market to make you flip over to an EV. I think if you had to fill up your car at a petrol station in 45 degrees 3 times a week, that would actually probably make you think, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, and if I had to pay 700 dirhams.
Well, exactly. Yeah, all those things. And I think also, the people who are buying the EVs are a more mature market, okay? So do you rush out and buy the brand new iPhone? No, of course you don't. Why not? Because there's going to be another one coming out. The price is going to drop. We're a bit more savvy around that. And I think that's one of the things that we think about is, what's my Tesla going to be worth in 3 years' time?
Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. It's going to be worth a fortune.
That's another subject.
Craig Stevens there. Great advice from you. Thank you very much indeed. CEO of DubiCars. Fantastic to have you on the Business Breakfast.